It's been a week in the new Ford Escape Hybrid, and I wanted to wrap up my thoughts on it after driving a couple hundred miles in it and spending the last few days behind the wheel. I will say, to sum up this car, it's actually pretty fun to drive, and that's twofold. Part of that is trying to achieve better and better fuel economy with every drive you do. And I think beyond a certain MPG, it turns into a little bit of a game where, if you can eke out 45 miles to the gallon out of this thing in the city, there's some satisfaction in that. And the other side of it is it's actually fun to drive. Ford knows how to set up a vehicle's suspension these days. They've really done a good job setting up this Escape to be a little bit dynamic, a little bit fun, a little bit playful. It rides really nicely, but it's active around the corners. And on this drive tonight, I want to show you guys a little bit how this thing handles. Really, the only thing I don't like about this Escape is the interior quality isn't amazing. There's a lot of these big slabs of plastic, but honestly, it's not anything different from what Ford has been doing for quite a while. And if you really care about interior quality and lack of plastics and stuff like that, there's a lot of other options in the market. I would say I'd kind of look past a lot of that stuff. Personally, I could care less about the plastic on the door panels, and as long as it doesn't rattle to bits, I'm pretty liberal with my interior quality. After all, I do own a Subaru BRZ, so I'm a little bit more interested in how a car drives and how usable and user-friendly it is. And I've got to say, this hits a lot of marks. There aren't a lot of cons to this Escape Hybrid, and yeah, let's take it out for a last drive here, and also show you guys what it's like at night. You can hear their little creepy reverse song that it plays. Started to have that in my nightmares now. I am glad that hybrids are starting to make some sound, though, at low speeds, because the chances of hitting a pedestrian have gone way up now once cars start to be silent and electric. The more I drive this too, the more comfortable I get with that limit of throttle input that kicks on the engine. It's kind of fun to play outside of that and try to keep it in electric mode as much as possible. This thing has great turn-in. It has a faster steering rack than you would think for a crossover. One of the few CVTs that I don't completely hate. I've been trying to get used to the cruise control button placement this week, and I've struggled with it a little bit, to be honest. Each selector button is a little bit small, a little bit hard to differentiate from the other ones, and I don't really like the up-down knobs on the steering wheel for resume and increase speed. It's usable, though. I find myself having to take my eyes off the road more than I would like with the system, and ultimately a cruise control system should be completely just by touch, and this isn't quite there. It's almost there, and maybe with more time in this car I'd be able to get there, but I love the brake pedal in this Escape. It's one of the few hybrids I've ever driven that actually has a pretty cool, naturally feeling pedal with a lot of input. And there isn't really that much difference between regen. Look at that. Auto bright headlights kicking on there. The steering is light. There isn't a ton of rotation from this chassis, but there's enough to make it feel lively. There's just a tad of understeer. This isn't an ST product or something, but I do like the way the steering feels weighted up around a corner. It's a setup that kind of encourages you to drive a little bit quicker and hustle this thing around a little bit, which is always welcome. There's a decent amount of mechanical grip and steering feel as well. Throw it into sport mode here. You do get a little bit more regen off gas, off throttle in sport and eco mode. It'll go all the way down to 26, 28, 30 kilowatts of regenerative braking in those modes, which is kind of cool. Actually, while we're here, let's show you guys what the engine's doing. Hope you guys can see that screen pretty well. So letting off throttle, I'm getting 19, 18, 17 kilowatts on the brakes. It's giving me about 34 kilowatts of regenerative braking back into the battery, which is pretty cool. It's a little tedious to switch between these driver modes, but I don't think it's something you're going to be doing a lot. Honestly, the normal drive mode does a really good job. I've kind of been between that and eco, because eco gives you that little bit extra regenerative braking, and it helps for timing traffic lights and letting off throttle and just kind of maximizing your efficient driving. And it doesn't dumb down the throttle response or accelerator pedal too much. I haven't done any official MPG recording in this week, but with just based on the readout, I've averaged as high as 45, 47 miles to the gallon in some city driving. On the highway, I think there's a little bit less than the EPA ratings. There's good passing power, good torque. A lot of body roll too. Radar guided cruise control has been really consistent, really nice to use all week as well. It's a very good system. It's quick, it's responsive. You don't feel like you're holding up traffic while you're using it. Of course, the only disadvantage I've ever really found with these systems is it doesn't keep you out of people's blind spots necessarily. And sometimes the graphics, the graphics on the center display here are a little bit slow to respond to following distance changes and things like that. But right now we're going 64 miles an hour on just electric. That's pretty cool. I didn't think this car could do that at first, but it's doing a pretty good job maintaining its speed in just electric mode. And then as soon as we get over merge, it resumes up to 70 miles an hour really quickly. It's awesome. Pretty quiet at speed too, not a lot of wind noise or road noise. The sound system is very good. If you want to hear a sound test, go to my previous video. The first impressions video, I did a couple tracks. That's pretty much all I can think of. I mean, a lot of what I said initially in that first impressions video still holds true, in my opinion. A heads-up display might be nice for speed. I find the speedometer to be a little bit weird to recognize a lot, just because it's a small digital display in the bottom left. And it's a little bit out of your normal sight, line of sight, but I think this would be a really good buy if you're going to lease this, or if you don't hold on to cars for a very long time. I'm not sure about this as a long-term proposition because, one, it's going to be a little bit obsolete here soon. Almost immediately here with the plug-in hybrid Escape. And also as technology progresses and range improves with these hybrid systems, you're going to see a lot more just progress in terms of these hybrid vehicles and more desirability. But as it sits, this is it's a good buy. It's definitely not in the same class as the RAV4. It's a little bit smaller. It's definitely not as nice or as well built, and it feels it, but it's fun, it's lightweight, it's a little bit playful. It's an enjoyable car to drive in a way that the RAV4 is a little bit heavier, a little bit softer, actually a lot softer. That thing rides amazing on our crappy Michigan roads. But there's a nimbleness to this Escape that makes it a little bit more city car and maybe less long hauler, but it still retains a lot of space. It's easy to place on the road. And dynamically, it's a lot more enjoyable, I think. So it kind of depends on your preferences and what you're going to be going for. If you need just a solid daily driver that's fuel efficient and really, really usable, and you can pick one up for a decent price, it's probably a pretty good option, pretty good way to go. That kind of sums up my thoughts on this Escape Hybrid. I was really looking forward to driving this week, and it's delivered the goods. And I think the high points are just kind of the way it drives. As far as technology, it's up there. I wish it did have a heated steering wheel, especially in this colder climate. I know Ford's been kind of prone to hide their heated steering wheel controls in their sync systems, but I'm not seeing it anywhere in here, and I don't think it is equipped on this car. Yeah, that's something else entirely. But otherwise, pretty good stuff here, and props to Ford for keeping some fun in this. And that is one thing I'll say about a lot of their cars that I've driven lately, even up to the new Explorer. I think their new Explorer ST is way too stiff for what it is, but that's another video. But the rest of their lineup, like the Edge ST and even the base Explorer, they're good vehicles to drive, and you can tell that people who enjoy driving have had a hand in developing the suspension and the dynamics, and that definitely shows with this Escape. So top marks for Ford on that respect. And It's nice that you can also buy crossovers these days that get decent gas mileage and aren't pigs at the pump anymore. It's about time we started getting these into the 40, 50, 60 miles per gallon, and the fact that we're going to have plug-in variants soon is also a good thing. So anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts. I think that's going to wrap it up this week for the Escape SE Sport all-wheel drive hybrid. Not in that order probably, but you guys get the idea. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.